Did you know that ancient texts contain warnings about a celestial body named Nibiru, predicted to cause catastrophic earth changes? And that these warnings, veiled in mythological language, originate from a civilization far more advanced than our own? But what if mainstream science is deliberately suppressing this information to prevent global panic, maintaining power and control by disregarding the truth? To understand this hidden history, we must journey back to ancient Sumer, the land between the rivers Tigris and Euphrates, where civilization as we know it first took root. Here, in the Fertile Crescent of Mesopotamia, the Sumerians emerged as a beacon of innovation and knowledge, leaving behind a legacy that continues to shape our world today. Their advancements in agriculture, mathematics, law, and astronomy were unparalleled for their time, demonstrating a sophisticated understanding of the cosmos and its influence on human affairs. Consider, for example, their sexagesimal number system, which forms the basis of our modern system of measuring time and angles. Ponder also the Code of Hammurabi, one of the earliest known legal codes, which established principles of justice and social order that resonate even in contemporary legal systems. Yet, beyond these well-documented achievements, the Sumerians possessed a knowledge of astronomy that defies conventional explanation. Their detailed observations of the celestial bodies, including the planets of our solar system, reveal a level of scientific understanding that should not have been possible with the technology available at the time. The Sumerians accurately tracked the movements of Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn, and they even possessed knowledge of planets beyond Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune, which were not officially discovered by modern astronomers until the 18th and 19th centuries. How did they acquire such advanced astronomical knowledge thousands of years ago? Was it through meticulous observation, divine revelation, or perhaps, as some alternative researchers suggest, through contact with extraterrestrial beings? Mainstream science, for the most part, dismisses the notion of Nibiru as pseudoscience, a fringe theory lacking empirical evidence. Skeptics point to the lack of astronomical observations of a planet with such a long orbital period, and question the interpretations of ancient texts that support its existence. Notable scientists and researchers, such as Dr. Michael Brown, a Caltech astronomer known for his work on dwarf planets in the outer solar system, have publicly debunked the Nibiru theory, citing the lack of scientific evidence. So was saying that Nibiru simply does not exist. Yet, within the alternative history community, researchers and authors like Zecharia Sitchin have championed the idea of Nibiru, drawing upon their own interpretations of ancient texts and cataclysmic events to support their claims. Zecharia Sitchin, in his groundbreaking book, The 12th Planet, meticulously translated and interpreted Sumerian tablets, presenting a compelling narrative of the Annunaki, an advanced extraterrestrial civilization who arrived on Earth from Nibiru. Sitchin argued that the Annunaki genetically engineered humanity to serve as their workforce, extracting gold and other valuable resources from our planet. His work has sparked both fascination and controversy, with critics questioning his translations and interpretations of Sumerian texts. Regardless of the debate surrounding Sitchin's work, his interpretations have provided a framework for understanding the Nibiru phenomenon and its potential impact on human history. Across various cultures and religions, apocalyptic themes and doomsday scenarios have persisted throughout history, reflecting humanity's enduring fascination with the end of the world. From the biblical flood to the prophecies of Nostradamus to the Mayan calendar prophecy of 2012, civilizations have long contemplated the possibility of cataclysmic events that could alter the course of human history. Consider, for instance, the Book of Revelation in the Christian Bible, which vividly describes a series of catastrophic events that will precede the end times, or the Norse myth of Ragnarok, a cataclysmic battle that will result in the destruction and rebirth of the world. These narratives, while diverse in their specific details, share a common thread: the anticipation of a transformative event that will usher in a new era. The Mayan calendar prophecy of 2012, which gained widespread attention in the early 21st century, similarly predicted a period of profound change and transformation, albeit without specifying a specific cataclysmic event. The Annunnaki's true motives and their relationship with humanity remain shrouded in secrecy, raising questions about our origins and destiny. Were they benevolent guides who sought to uplift humanity, or manipulative overlords who exploited our planet for their own gain? What is their role, if any, in Nibiru's return, and do they have an agenda that is unknown to mankind? But what if the ancient Sumerians and the Anunnaki were trying to warn us about a recurring celestial event that threatens our very existence? To understand the truth about Nibiru, we need to delve deeper into the ancient texts and explore the evidence that mainstream science refuses to acknowledge, and what is the truth of the gods. Did you know that the Anunnaki strategically encoded warnings about Nibiru's cyclical return and its potential for cataclysmic earth changes, using Sumerian texts and mythology? This wasn't just about predicting events, but about providing future generations with the means to understand and potentially mitigate the disasters. But why encode the information? What made the Anunnaki create these messages of cyclical destruction and planetary changes? Is it a natural event or a choice? To find the answers, we must turn once more to the Sumerian tablets, specifically the interpretations put forth by Zecharia Sitchin. Sitchin meticulously analyzed these ancient texts, uncovering descriptions of Nibiru's elongated orbit, a 3,600-year cycle that brings it periodically into our solar system. This cycle, known to the Anunnaki, was marked by the Shar, a unit of time equivalent to 3,600 Earth years. The Anunnaki knew the Shar. They knew of Nibiru's cyclical orbit. They knew what to expect upon its return. They understood the celestial mechanics at play. What did they do with this knowledge? Sitchin's translations reveal passages describing the chaos and destruction caused by Nibiru's gravitational pull as it passes through our solar system. He spoke of earthquakes, floods, and dramatic climate shifts, all triggered by Nibiru's presence. One tablet reads, "The earth will shake and tremble, pieces of the great land will break off and sink into the sea. The face of the land will darken, and a great storm will rage across the sky." But what motivated the Anunnaki to travel to Earth in the first place, and why were they so concerned with warning future generations about Nibiru? Sitchin posited that their primary motive was resource acquisition, specifically the extraction of gold, which they needed to repair their own planet's atmosphere. Humanity, in their eyes, served as a workforce, genetically engineered to mine and process this precious metal. The implications of the Sumerian texts are profound. If Sitchin's interpretations are accurate, the Sumerians possessed an advanced understanding of astronomy and planetary mechanics far beyond what mainstream science attributes to them. The question then becomes, are the Sumerian descriptions of cataclysms merely mythological allegories, or do they correspond to actual geological events in Earth's history? Consider the Younger Dryas impact event, a period of abrupt climate change that occurred roughly 12,800 years ago. Evidence suggests that a comet or asteroid impact triggered widespread wildfires, megafloods, and a sudden drop in global temperatures. Could this event be linked to a previous passage of Nibiru through our solar system, as the Sumerians described? Skeptics may argue that there is limited current understanding of Nibiru's orbit and makeup. They may state that its existence is only theoretical. They may be correct in that assertion, but could they also be wrong? If the Sumerians possessed such advanced astronomical knowledge, why is this information not more widely accepted today? If the Sumerians tried to warn us, have other cultures attempted to do the same? What other accounts are there of cyclical destruction and cataclysmic events? Other ancient mythologies and traditions also contain warnings about celestial events and cyclical cataclysms. From Egypt to Mesoamerica, recurring patterns emerge, suggesting a shared understanding of Nibiru's influence. Is this shared influence coincidence, or is it fact? In Egyptian mythology, we find references to celestial battles and the cyclical destruction and rebirth of the world in the Book of the Dead. The ancient Egyptians believed in a cosmic cycle of creation, destruction, and renewal, with the sun god Ra battling the serpent Apophis each night to ensure the sun's return. Align specific Egyptian symbols, such as the winged disk, with the Sumerian depiction of Nibiru. The winged disk, a prominent symbol in Egyptian art and religion, is often interpreted as representing a celestial body, a god, or a symbol of royal power. But what if it also symbolized Nibiru, the celestial wanderer whose periodic returns bring both destruction and renewal? In Mesoamerican cultures, we see the Mayan calendar and its cyclical view of time, with periods of creation and destruction. The Mayan calendar, with its complex system of cycles and long counts, reflects a deep understanding of astronomical phenomena and a belief in the cyclical nature of time. The Popol Vuh, the sacred book of the Maya, contains references to cataclysmic events that wiped out previous creations. In this book, it speaks of floods, earthquakes, and volcanic eruptions that destroyed entire civilizations. If the Annunaki are to be believed, then these weren't just the end of civilizations, but signs of cataclysmic events due to planet Nibiru's cycle. Now, to understand the significance of these cross-cultural patterns, the Sumerian, Egyptian, and Mesoamerican accounts must be compared. In comparing these accounts, one finds recurring themes. Consider, for example, the theme of a great flood. This theme appears in the Sumerian epic of Gilgamesh, the biblical story of Noah, and various other ancient traditions. Is it possible that these flood narratives all refer to the same historical event, a cataclysmic flood triggered by Nibiru's passage? Could there be a shared ancient source of knowledge, perhaps a pre-Diluvian civilization that spread out to the rest of the world? It's possible that the events spread through shared ancestry, and it is also possible that there was an entirely separate influence at play. Skeptics might argue that these similarities are merely coincidence or the result of independent cultural development. It's true that cultures can develop similar myths and symbols independently, but some symbols and accounts bear too close a resemblance to be dismissed as mere coincidence. Why do cultures separated by vast distances and time share strikingly similar narratives of celestial cataclysms? Why are the flood stories around the world all so similar? Could this be what the Nicaea Council attempted to scrub from the history books? If this knowledge has been around for millennia, why is it not part of our mainstream understanding of history and science? Why do so many people still believe that the earth is flat, or that the events in the Bible are the only accurate way to view the ancient world? The cyclical nature of cataclysms is not in the interest of those in power. Knowledge is power, and knowledge of a recurring event could cause panic and disrupt established power structures. Is that what is happening here? Is that why the world is so focused on the here and now instead of preparing for the future? History has a long list of suppressed scientific discoveries that challenged established paradigms. Take, for example, Galileo's heliocentric theory. In the 17th century, Galileo Galilei challenged the geocentric view of the universe, which placed the Earth at the center, with his observations supporting the heliocentric model, which placed the Sun at the center. Galileo's findings contradicted the Church's teachings, leading to his persecution and the suppression of his ideas. Or consider Tesla's free energy. Nikola Tesla, a brilliant inventor and engineer, developed technologies that could potentially provide free and limitless energy. However, his ideas were suppressed by powerful interests who sought to maintain control over the energy industry. Today, the truth of Nibiru is ridiculed. The ridicule is faced by researchers who promote the Nibiru theory, despite the amount of evidence and cultural relevance. It echoes down through the ages. The stories of those who spoke out and were penalized throughout time positions this alongside the ridicule of the Nibiru truth. Consider the story of the Council of Nicaea. Under the control of the Roman Emperor Constantine, and as a result of his Nicene Creed, the Gnostic and Jewish books were removed from the compilation of the Bible. These accounts, however, provided detailed accounts of humanity's creation and where we came from. The great books of the Bible paint a picture of events that are supposed to be literal, yet how much of that is true? As Enki was saying, those who control the story control the world. The motivations behind suppressing information about Nibiru involve maintaining control, preventing panic, and protecting vested interests, such as the fossil fuel industry. Imagine the chaos that would ensue if the general public knew that a cataclysmic event was on the horizon. Governments could collapse, economies could crumble, and social order could break down. Discuss the psychological effects of denying a potential threat and cognitive dissonance. People tend to reject information that contradicts their existing beliefs, even when faced with overwhelming evidence. Normalcy bias, the tendency to underestimate the likelihood of a disaster and to assume that things will continue to function normally, also plays a role. Is it a genuine effort to debunk misinformation or a deliberate attempt to conceal the truth? Are our scientists wrong or mislead? Who benefits from keeping humanity in the dark about Nibiru and the potential for cyclical cataclysms? If Nibiru's return is a real possibility, what can humanity do to prepare? Technological advancements and a shift in consciousness may offer hope for mitigating the impact. The key lies in a dual approach, developing advanced technologies and achieving a higher state of spiritual awareness. What does that even look like? The Sumerian tablets, Egyptian mythology, Mesoamerican calendars, suppressed knowledge, it all tells the same story. Is it really possible that they are all wrong? What are the odds that this many groups got it wrong? The ancient warnings about Nibiru form a recurring pattern across cultures and throughout history. Nibiru is the key to unlock a full understanding of how mankind has been misled for power and control. Is the truth of the Annunaki too much for mankind to bear? What will happen if planet Nibiru actually returns? Did you know that ancient civilizations may have possessed technologies and spiritual practices capable of mitigating the cataclysmic effects of Nibiru's return? This is not science fiction. It is a reinterpretation of ancient knowledge, suggesting our ancestors were far more advanced than we give them credit for. But how could such ancient cultures be advanced, and how do these technologies apply to our world today? The answers may lie in the imposing structures and esoteric practices of ancient civilizations. Consider the pyramids of Giza. Mainstream archaeology tells us they were tombs for pharaohs, but what if they served a far greater purpose? Some researchers propose that the pyramids were designed as energy devices, capable of harnessing Earth's electromagnetic field. This energy, they say, could have been used for communication, healing, or even protection against celestial events. The internal structures of the pyramids, with their precise geometric alignments and underground chambers, could have acted as resonators, amplifying and focusing electromagnetic energy. But what made people believe they would be protected? Was the connection not only spiritual but physical? Then, there are the ancient water systems found in various parts of the world. These systems, such as the complex networks of underground canals and reservoirs, were not just for irrigation and drinking water. Some suggest that these water systems also had the ability to generate energy. Water, as a conductor, could have been used to create electromagnetic fields, with the system acting as a giant capacitor. The ancients knew more than we give them credit for, so Imhotep was saying. Beyond technology, spiritual practices played a vital role in preparing for cataclysmic events. Ancient cultures, from the Egyptians to the Mayans, developed sophisticated spiritual systems aimed at raising consciousness and connecting with higher dimensions. Meditation, yoga, and shamanism were not just religious rituals. They were tools for accessing altered states of consciousness and enhancing psychic abilities. These practices may have been used to perceive subtle changes in the environment, predict impending disasters, and communicate with beings from other realms. The Bible, often viewed as a purely religious text, can be reinterpreted as a book of parables for understanding energy and connection with other worlds. Stories such as the parting of the Red Sea and the ascension of Jesus can be seen as metaphors for harnessing energy and transcending physical limitations. As the Sumerian tablets suggest, these were all the teachings of the Annunaki. Now consider the Earth's grid, an invisible network of energy lines that crisscross the planet. Some believe that this grid plays a vital role in protecting and preparing for cataclysmic events. Ancient sacred sites, such as Stonehenge and Machu Picchu, are often located on these grid lines, suggesting that our ancestors were aware of their importance. By aligning themselves with the Earth's grid, they may have been able to tap into its energy and create a protective shield around their civilizations. Why is this information hidden, or so fiercely debated? Who benefits by keeping this hidden from society? What if these ancient technologies are based on scientific principles that we are only now beginning to rediscover? Concepts such as scalar energy, zero-point energy, and torsion fields are gaining traction in the scientific community, offering potential explanations for how these technologies might have worked. Scalar energy, also known as longitudinal waves, is a form of electromagnetic energy that does not travel in a linear fashion. Some scientists believe that scalar energy can be harnessed to create powerful healing effects and even manipulate matter. Zero-point energy, also known as vacuum energy, is the energy that exists in empty space, even at absolute zero temperature. Some believe that this energy can be tapped into as a limitless source of power. As Tesla would say, the day science begins to study non-physical phenomena, it will make more progress in one decade than in all the previous centuries of its existence. The psychological and physiological effects of spiritual practices are also being studied by modern science. Meditation, for example, has been shown to alter brainwave states, reduce stress, and enhance cognitive function. Yoga has been found to improve flexibility, strength, and balance, as well as promote relaxation and well-being. Shamanism, with its altered states of consciousness and connection to nature, can provide insights into the workings of the human mind and the interconnectedness of all things. If these benefits are being recorded today, what kind of advancements can be found in the future? But are these interpretations of ancient technologies and practices just wishful thinking? Is there a real possibility that ancient cultures possessed advanced knowledge that has been lost or suppressed? Many mainstream scientists and historians would argue that there is no credible evidence to support such claims. They point to a lack of physical evidence, such as working devices or detailed technical manuals, as well as the potential for misinterpretation of ancient texts and symbols. However, what if the evidence has been deliberately hidden or destroyed? What if the knowledge was passed down through oral traditions or encoded in symbolic form, only to be lost or misinterpreted over time? If the written word is controlled, wouldn't all oral traditions be viewed as just stories? If we accept the premise that Nibiru returns cyclically, when is the next return predicted to occur, and what signs should we look for? Ancient prophecies and astronomical alignments may hold the key to unlocking the timing of Nibiru's next arrival. Could the alignment of specific stars or planets serve as a warning signal, indicating the approach of Nibiru? The prophecies of Nostradamus, Edgar Cayce, and other visionaries have long been scrutinized for clues about future events. Nostradamus, the 16th century French apothecary and seer, is renowned for his cryptic prophecies written in rhyming quatrains. Some interpret Nostradamus's verses as foretelling major events, including wars, revolutions, and natural disasters. Edgar Cayce, the sleeping prophet, was an American psychic who gave thousands of trance readings on a wide range of topics, including health, past lives, and future events. Some of Cayce's prophecies concern cataclysmic earth changes, such as earthquakes, floods, and volcanic eruptions. Can these be signs of Nibiru's return? Analyzing astronomical alignments involves looking for specific configurations of stars, planets, and constellations that might coincide with Nibiru's return. Ancient cultures, such as the Mayans and Egyptians, were skilled astronomers who meticulously tracked the movements of celestial bodies. Some believe that these cultures encoded knowledge about Nibiru's orbit in their calendars and monuments, waiting to be unlocked. Are there those today who see visions of future events to come? I have seen it, so a first-hand account was saying. I see fire falling from the sky. I see the land being swallowed by water. I feel the fear of the people, the despair, the loss. But I also see hope. I see a new world rising from the ashes, a world where humanity has learned its lesson and lives in harmony with nature. While this may sound like the hallucinations of a madman, it echoes the visions of prophets and seers throughout history. Is the return of Nibiru a foregone conclusion, or can we change our destiny? The potential impact of Nibiru's return on human civilization could be devastating. Social unrest, economic collapse, and environmental devastation are all possible outcomes. Resources would become scarce, infrastructure would crumble, and social order would break down. However, amidst the chaos, there is also the possibility of a positive transformation. A shift in consciousness, the emergence of new technologies, and the creation of a more sustainable and equitable society could arise from the ashes. Do we trust mankind to have the ability to rebuild the world? Opposing arguments suggest that we are doomed to repeat the mistakes of the past, that human nature is inherently flawed and incapable of creating a better future. Some believe that cataclysmic events are simply part of a natural cycle, and that there is nothing we can do to prevent them. Are we truly powerless in the face of cosmic forces? Or can we learn from ancient warnings and create a better future? What is our responsibility to future generations? Has humanity been chosen to repeat a cycle or change it? Did you know that the gods of ancient texts are deeply intertwined with Earth's destiny, with their interactions shaping the course of human history? Ancient texts portray them as having a hand in the Earth's destiny, but to what extent is still a mystery. These beings, whether real or metaphorical, wielded influence over humanity's fate. But how do their aims and the return of Nibiru intertwine? The gods of ancient texts were not necessarily benevolent or all-powerful beings, but entities with their own agendas, limitations, and power struggles. Were they beings, or a metaphor for energetic transfers? This understanding is crucial to understanding the role in Nibiru's return and how humanity's destiny is intertwined with these entities. Ancient Sumerian texts, such as the Enuma Elish, depict the Annunaki as powerful beings who came to Earth and shaped human civilization. However, they were not always in agreement, and their conflicts often had dire consequences for humanity. The Epic of Gilgamesh tells of a great flood sent by the gods to punish humanity, but one god, Enki, warned Utnapishtim, the Sumerian Noah, and helped him survive. What would the return mean for the gods? Would they return to punish or help? Now consider the story of Noah's Ark, as told in the Bible. This can be reinterpreted as an intervention by one faction of the gods, possibly Enki, to save humanity from a cataclysm caused by another faction, possibly Enlil. The story goes, the wickedness of man had become too much, and a flood was the only answer. But what if that answer wasn't from one god, but a council making decisions, and Enki disagreed? This directly connects to the Annunaki story, explaining the relationship between Enki and Enlil. Enki, known for his wisdom and compassion, wanted to help humanity, while Enlil, the stern and uncompromising leader, wanted to destroy it. The flood, therefore, might have been used as a means to reset human civilization, control knowledge, and wipe out advanced technologies that posed a threat to the gods' dominance. Ancient texts speak of advanced civilizations that existed before the flood, possessing technologies that rival or even surpass our own. The Anunnaki may have seen these technologies as a threat to their power and sought to eliminate them. But if we follow their path of destruction, are they truly gods? The strategic placement of stories such as the flood and its hidden meaning for control is a recurring theme in ancient texts. The flood narrative can be found in various cultures around the world, suggesting a common origin and a deliberate attempt to shape human consciousness. By presenting the flood as an act of divine punishment, religious authorities could instill fear and obedience in their followers. But are these stories placed to shape or control society? Ancient texts have been changed in support of the doctrine, and this directly impacts current day. The Bible, as we know it, is a product of centuries of editing, translation, and interpretation. Many texts were excluded from the canon, such as the Gnostic Gospels, which offer a different perspective on human origins and the nature of the divine. These texts were deemed heretical by the early church and suppressed, but they may hold valuable clues about the true nature of the gods and their involvement in human history. Did these stories come to light to protect the powerful? How has the flood narrative and other biblical stories been used to promote obedience, discourage critical thinking, and consolidate power in the hands of religious authorities? The flood narrative, with its emphasis on divine judgment and the need for repentance, has been used to justify the authority of religious leaders and enforce moral codes. By presenting themselves as intermediaries between God and humanity, religious authorities could control access to knowledge and dictate what people believed. But do these beliefs reflect the true nature of things? The suppression of alternative interpretations of the Bible, such as Gnostic texts that offer a different perspective on human origins and the nature of the divine, is another tool of control. Gnostic texts, such as the Gospel of Thomas and the Gospel of Mary Magdalene, present a more mystical and individualistic approach to spirituality, emphasizing personal experience and inner knowledge rather than blind faith. These texts were suppressed because they challenged the authority of the Church and offered a different path to enlightenment. Are there other books that have been deemed unfit to share with the public? The psychological effects of these narratives on human consciousness, including the creation of fear, guilt, and a sense of dependence on external authority, are profound. By instilling fear of divine punishment and a sense of guilt for their sins, religious authorities could manipulate people's emotions and control their behavior. The concept of original sin, for example, suggests that all humans are born with a stain on their soul and are in need of redemption. This creates a sense of dependence on the Church and its sacraments, reinforcing its power and authority. Is mankind being led to believe we are broken? How has the Bible been used as a tool of control, and what are the implications for our understanding of history, spirituality, and human potential? By controlling the narrative, religious authorities could shape people's understanding of history, spirituality, and their own potential. The Bible, as a historical document, has been used to justify wars, conquests, and the oppression of certain groups. As a spiritual guide, it has been used to promote specific beliefs and practices while suppressing others. And as a blueprint for human potential, it has been used to limit people's aspirations and reinforce their sense of dependence on external authority. So, who truly benefits? But how can we know for sure that these reinterpretations are accurate? Is there any way to get a first-hand account of what happened during these ancient times? The interpretations of all ancient texts are exactly that. What if we had access to the perspective of someone who lived through these events, someone who could offer insights into the true nature of the gods and their intentions? Could we believe them? What if we had access to a channeled message from an Annunaki entity or other being who claims to have witnessed these events and can shed light on the hidden truths of our past? Such a message could offer a unique perspective on the motivations and actions of the gods, as well as the consequences of their interventions. It could also provide insights into the true nature of Nibiru's return and its potential impact on humanity. Are we ready for this truth? I am Enki, so was saying, a member of the Annunaki. I have watched the events unfold on Earth for millennia. The flood was not a simple act of divine punishment, but a complex and calculated decision made by the Anunnaki Council. Enlil, driven by his desire to control and dominate humanity, saw the flood as a means to wipe the slate clean and start over. But I, Enki, saw the potential for humanity to evolve and thrive, and I sought to preserve it. My motives were not purely altruistic. I knew that humanity could serve a purpose in the Anunnaki's plans, but I also believed that they deserved a chance to prove themselves. The flood was a necessary evil, a reset button that allowed humanity to start anew, but it also came at a great cost. It was not what you think it was. Humanity was always meant to live alongside us. There were those that were not on board with it, and those are the stories you hear today. The relationship with humanity was complex and multifaceted. We were not benevolent guides, nor were we manipulative overlords. We were simply beings with our own agendas, seeking to utilize Earth's resources and humanity's potential. We saw humanity as a tool, but also as a responsibility. We sought to guide their development, but we also interfered with their free will. We did not want mankind to be destroyed, and we did what we could to ensure that. Nibiru's return is a natural phenomenon, a cyclical event that has occurred throughout Earth's history. It is not a deliberate act, nor is it something to be feared. It is simply a part of the cosmic cycle, a reminder of the ever-changing nature of the universe. However, its impact on Earth can be significant, and it is important for humanity to be prepared. If mankind prepares, then there is hope for the future. How can we discern the truth from deception, and what is our responsibility when faced with such extraordinary claims? Analyze the consistency of the channeled message with other ancient texts and traditions. Does it align with what we already know about the Anunnaki and their interactions with humanity? Are there any contradictions or inconsistencies that raise red flags? Are there hidden truths that are being told? Even in channeled messages, there is the potential for deception or manipulation. The source of the message may not be who they claim to be, or they may have their own hidden agendas. It is important to approach such messages with a critical and discerning mind, and to not blindly accept everything that is said. Remember that the truth is not always easy to find, and it may require careful investigation and analysis. Question everything that is in front of you. The psychological effects of reading such accounts on human consciousness can be profound, including the potential for empowerment, fear, or confusion. Reading about the Anunnaki and their involvement in human history can be both empowering and unsettling. It can empower us to question our assumptions about the past and to seek a deeper understanding of our origins. However, it can also create fear and confusion, especially if we are not prepared to challenge our existing beliefs. What would this change for humanity in the future? Biblical reinterpretations, the flood narrative as a tool of control, and the first-hand account from an Annunaki entity all provide evidence of the gods' involvement in Earth's destiny, the manipulation of knowledge, and the potential for human empowerment or enslavement. The evidence paints a picture of a complex and multifaceted relationship between humanity and the gods, one that has shaped our past and may determine our future. But what can mankind do with all of this information? The recurring themes highlight the complex relationship between humanity and the gods. This reminds us of their interaction in knowledge sharing and the potential for human enslavement. However, do we want to repeat the same cycle or create our own path forward? Will humanity rise and change the cycle, or sit back and allow our fate to happen? Will we learn from the mistakes of the past and create a better future for ourselves? Or will we continue to be manipulated by those in power? Are we ready to challenge our assumptions and seek a deeper understanding of our origins? Did you know that ancient texts and prophecies offer a final warning to humanity about Nibiru's imminent return? And what if this return holds the potential for global catastrophe? But hearken, this warning is not meant to instill fear, but to inspire action and preparedness. What steps can humanity take, both individually and collectively, to mitigate the impact of Nibiru's return and ensure the survival of our species? What's really fascinating is the convergence of prophecies from seemingly disparate cultures, all hinting at a period of great upheaval and transformation. Could Nibiru's return be the catalyst for this prophesied shift? The Book of Revelation, a cornerstone of Christian eschatology, speaks of celestial signs, earthquakes, and plagues that will herald the end times. These events, interpreted symbolically or literally, bear a striking resemblance to the potential consequences of Nibiru's close passage. Hopi prophecies, passed down through generations of Native American tradition, foretell a time of great purification, when the earth will be cleansed by fire and water. This cataclysm, they say, will be preceded by specific signs in the heavens, aligning with astronomical events that some researchers associate with Nibiru. Then there are the prophecies of Fatima, a series of visions reported by 3 Portuguese children in 1917. These prophecies, shrouded in secrecy, speak of wars, famine, and the persecution of the church, events that could be triggered or exacerbated by the social and environmental disruptions caused by Nibiru's return. And what did the prophets see? These prophecies are interwoven with astronomical alignments that create a tapestry of celestial events which may coincide with Nibiru's return. The alignment of planets, stars, and constellations has long been seen as a harbinger of change and transformation. Some researchers point to specific dates or time periods when these alignments will be particularly potent, potentially coinciding with Nibiru's arrival. For example, certain alignments of Jupiter, Saturn, and other planets are said to create a gravitational resonance that could destabilize Earth's orbit, triggering earthquakes and volcanic eruptions. Likewise, the alignment of stars and constellations along the ecliptic plane is seen as a sign of cosmic upheaval, potentially amplifying the effects of Nibiru's passage. But do the stars hold the key to humanity's future? Geological and climate change indicators may serve as warning signs for those who have eyes to see and ears to hear. Increased volcanic activity, earthquakes, extreme weather events, and changes in Earth's magnetic field are all potential indicators of Nibiru's approach. Scientists have observed a recent increase in volcanic eruptions around the world, releasing vast amounts of ash and gases into the atmosphere. Earthquakes, too, have become more frequent and intense, particularly in regions along major fault lines. Extreme weather events such as hurricanes, floods, and droughts are occurring with increasing regularity, causing widespread devastation and displacement. And what of those who have had visions? The validity of all prophetic texts comes into question, and there is always the potential for misinterpretation and bias. The prophecies of Revelation, Hopi, and Fatima are open to a wide range of interpretations, and their symbolic language can be easily misunderstood. The astronomical alignments used to predict Nibiru's return are based on complex calculations and assumptions, and their accuracy is subject to debate. Even the geological and climate change data, while based on scientific observations, can be influenced by a variety of factors unrelated to Nibiru. Are these prophecies genuine warnings, or simply the product of human imagination and fear? How can we discern true signs from false alarms? So was saying, many have been ridiculed in the past for speaking the truth, but now their words ring true. Is it not possible that mankind is being led astray? The current belief system is based upon so much misinformation that it is imperative to question all that has been told to us. And what if we have been led astray to protect those in power? Those who ridicule the signs of Nibiru's return are often the very people who stand to lose the most if its existence were to be widely acknowledged. The suppression of knowledge and the dissemination of misinformation are tactics used throughout history to maintain control and prevent dissent. If Nibiru's return is imminent, how will the Earth prepare for this shift in energy? Is Earth even able to prepare? The Earth's grid system may be shifting into place to help protect the planet, and certain ley lines must activate. Is there any way to facilitate the process? The following section will introduce the Earth's grid system, the importance of alignment, and how it will affect the magnetic fields during the shift. The Earth is encased in an energetic grid, a complex network of ley lines and vortex points that connect the planet's magnetic field. This grid acts as a conduit for energy, channeling cosmic forces and influencing the Earth's climate, geology, and even its consciousness. Now, this is the account from an entity who understands the importance of the shift and the alignment. I, Thoth, so was saying, scribe of the gods, have observed the Earth's energetic grid for millennia. It is a living, breathing system that constantly evolves and adapts to the changing cosmic environment. The ley lines, like veins in a body, carry energy across the planet, connecting sacred sites and power centers. The vortex points, like chakras, are focal points of energy, where cosmic forces converge and amplify. As Nibiru approaches, the Earth's grid is shifting into place, preparing to receive and integrate the incoming energy. This shift is essential for the planet's survival, as it will help to stabilize the magnetic field and mitigate the potential impact of Nibiru's energetic influence. The Earth's natural protection from energetic shifts are in place, and always will be. The Earth's magnetic field acts as a shield, deflecting harmful radiation and energetic particles from space. However, this field is not static. It fluctuates in strength and polarity, influenced by the sun, the moon, and other celestial bodies. As Nibiru approaches, its energetic influence will disrupt the Earth's magnetic field, potentially weakening its protective capabilities. But the grid system is there to help support and strengthen this process. Nibiru's energetic impact will be significant. Its gravitational pull will cause tidal forces to increase, triggering earthquakes and volcanic eruptions. Its magnetic field will interact with the Earth's, creating electromagnetic disturbances that can disrupt communication systems and affect human health. Its energetic emissions will bombard the planet with radiation, potentially causing climate change and ecological damage. But the Earth is not defenseless. Its grid system, if properly aligned and activated, can help to mitigate these effects and protect the planet from the worst of Nibiru's impact. What mankind must prepare? There are many theories regarding energetic shifts, and all should be considered. Are Thoth's words accurate and valid? Compare the account with the many theories regarding energetic shifts. Is it possible that mankind can facilitate the shift? How can humanity use the coming shift and potential destruction to create a better future? What if a new conscious awareness that the Earth is not ours to destroy, it is ours to protect? It is time to change the cycle and create a better future for mankind. What does this new future hold? What plans do world leaders, economists, and conscious speakers and truthers have to share? How can mankind use their power to change the current timeline of destruction and create a future of love and light? The blueprints for a new future are being drawn even now, a future where humanity lives in harmony with nature and each other. Conscious speakers and truthers are spreading awareness of the need for change, empowering individuals to take responsibility for their actions and create a more sustainable and equitable world. Economists are developing new models that prioritize sustainability and social justice over profit maximization. Mankind can use their power to change the current timeline of destruction. By embracing conscious awareness, taking action to protect the environment, and promoting social justice, we can create a future of love and light for ourselves and future generations. Is this truly possible? Mankind's purpose and path forward must be analyzed and planned. There are so many plans, accounts, and information to consider. What is our responsibility when creating a new future? We are the stewards of this planet, entrusted with the responsibility of protecting its delicate ecosystems and ensuring its long-term survival. The future of our planet rests in our hands, and it is up to us to create a world where all beings can thrive. Ancient prophecies, astronomical alignments, channeled messages, and the potential for human transformation are the keys to changing the cycle. These keys highlight cyclical cataclysms, ancient alien warnings, suppressed knowledge, and the power of human consciousness to shape our destiny. And what is our responsibility to future generations, and how can we work together to create a more sustainable and equitable society for all? The recurring themes highlight the need for awareness, action, and transformation. What will we do? As we reach the culmination of our exploration into the mysteries of Nibiru and its profound implications for humanity, we stand at a crossroads, poised to either repeat the mistakes of the past or forge a new path towards a future of enlightenment and harmony. What will be humanity's choice? The story of Nibiru, woven into the fabric of ancient civilizations and encoded within sacred texts, has revealed a tapestry of cyclical cataclysms, ancient alien warnings, and suppressed knowledge. We have traversed the annals of Sumerian tablets, reinterpreted biblical stories, and analyzed astronomical alignments, all in pursuit of a deeper understanding of this enigmatic celestial body and its connection to our destiny. We have seen how the Annunaki, whether benevolent guides or manipulative overlords, left an indelible mark on human history, shaping our beliefs, our technologies, and our very DNA. We have uncovered the importance of the Earth's grid system, a complex network of energy lines that could play a crucial role in mitigating the impact of Nibiru's return. And we've analyzed those ridiculed for their beliefs, who are now ringing true. What remains to be asked is, what does this all mean? What the viewer has gained is not merely a collection of facts and theories, but a new lens through which to view ancient history, a deeper awareness of potential cataclysms, and the empowering knowledge that we, as individuals and as a collective, have the potential to shape our future. Given the evidence we've explored, are we destined to repeat the mistakes of the past, blindly following the path of destruction, or can we harness our collective consciousness, our technological prowess, and our spiritual wisdom to create a more sustainable and harmonious future? The story of Nibiru is not just a tale of destruction and despair, but also a story of human potential for resilience, transformation, and the power to create a life that we have always dreamed of, free from the control of gods. The cyclical nature of creation and destruction, the eternal dance of light and darkness, is a universal principle that echoes throughout the cosmos. Civilizations rise and fall, stars are born and die, and galaxies collide and merge, all within the grand cosmic ballet. The Nibiru phenomenon, therefore, is not an isolated event, but a part of this larger cosmic cycle, a reminder of the impermanence of all things and the importance of balance. This cycle is humanity's ongoing struggle to understand its place in the universe, to reconcile our scientific understanding with our spiritual intuitions, and to forge a harmonious relationship with the planet and with each other. What if mankind changes its path to a better future for all? Despite the challenges and uncertainties that lie ahead, let us embrace our cosmic responsibility and work together to ensure the survival and evolution of our species, not just our physical survival, but also our spiritual and intellectual growth. The universe is full of mysteries and possibilities, waiting to be uncovered. Let us continue to explore, to learn, and to grow, always guided by the light of truth and the spirit of compassion. I, as a humble seeker of knowledge, have seen these signs, felt these energies, and witnessed the unraveling of ancient mysteries. Therefore, I encourage you to open your eyes, trust your intuition, and embark on your own journey of discovery. Share your thoughts, your insights, and your experiences with others. Research the topic further, delve into ancient texts, explore scientific findings, and question everything. Take steps to prepare for potential future events, not just with practical measures, but also with inner work, cultivating resilience, compassion, and a deep connection with the earth and with each other. May the light of truth guide you towards a future of enlightenment and harmony. Join us in future discussions and explorations of related topics as we continue to unravel the mysteries of the universe and our place within it. May the eternal light forever guide your path, illuminating your mind, opening your heart, and empowering you to create a better future for yourself, for humanity, and for the planet. As the ancient texts foretold, the truth shall set you free.